Let's go. Diego, take it away.
Okay. So thanks very much. Thanks very much, James, for inviting me today. And thanks very much, everyone, for joining. Today, I'm going to start a bit with the motivation part and why probably you should be doing C++ talks if you are a C++ programmer. So my name is Diego, and probably some of you know me because I am one of the Conan package manager co-founders, and I have been very active in this role, being an advocate for the project as well. But I have also done many C++ talks in my life. As you can see, I have talks in some of the major conferences, of course, in Meeting C++, in Meeting Embedded, but also in the United States, in CPPCon, ACCU, C++ Now, and other conferences. And I've also been a regular. I've been doing multiple every year, 1 year after the other. But let me explain a little bit about my life, why I have ended doing so many C++ talks. So let's go back a little bit in time until 2001. I was a researcher in robotics, right? And I was doing my research in university, academia, and in simultaneous location and mapping or robotics. It was great. But when you're in academia, you need to publish papers, right? And you need to submit your work to peer-reviewed journals. And I managed to do it. So if you go to my profile, my Scholar Google Scholar profile, you will see that I have a bunch of journals there. These journals allowed me to become a tenure-track professor, which is what I wanted back then. And I managed to do it. But I have to say that all my path, everything started in academic conferences, because publishing in journals is pretty challenging. It's difficult to get your papers accepted. The level back then was super high. So as this was very complex, I started submitting talks to conferences, to research academic conferences. And in this case, an important difference is that you always have to be a speaker. You have to be a presenter, because otherwise the university, they will not pay for your trip. So attending a conference, an academic conference, is typically very challenging. So most of the people attending the conference are also speakers, like probably 50% of them. It's very different from industry conferences like Meeting C++. But everything started there. I started to meet people, to network. Your visibility as a speaker is much higher. And then you realize that people start to know you. And at the end, the world is not that big. And the people that will be reviewing the journals, and people that will be doing projects and everything is connected. So the more visible you are, the easier is for you to get your job and your work and everything across. And this really helped me a lot. But then eventually I decided to quit academia and to quit my tenure track position. And then I started in 2012. I started to try. This was the first attempt to do a C++ dependency manager, which, as you can know, is pretty challenging, right? So I did this jump, and then I found myself in the same position. I had to do something. I had to spread the word about this Vico thing, right? And the way to do it is, okay, you need to go to conferences, but also you start submitting your idea or your proposal to conference, and then you are rejected because maybe this is not what the conference was. It is not alignment. So for this, you see here a lot of talks. In this case, that they are talking about Conan, most of them, and everything. But what I want to do is to also focus on the first talks that there was given. Okay, if we go back to the first talks that got accepted for me in the C conferences, these were them. So we can see the first time, for example, is developing an embedded application for the IoT. In this case, I was creating like a full system with Arduinos and Raspberry Pis and the MQTT protocol and a bunch of sensors, motors, actuators, everything, and doing a live demo. Okay. Note that this is not related to what I wanted to do. I wanted to spread the word about my project, but there was no way. It was very challenging back then. So I decided to step back and say, hey, what is happening? I need to be there. The important idea is I need to be there. I need to be in Meeting C++ in Berlin. Okay, that's the first step. And something similar happened in CPPCon. I wanted to be there, and then I submitted a talk about Python and C++. Nothing related to my project at all. Just how you integrate those things. And both talks were good. They worked very well. They got views and everything. But note that I had to approach my way of thinking in a different way. In this case, I was thinking, okay, I need to be there. So what I can submit that will get me accepted in the first time. Okay, and then of course the way I think about that, thought about that is, okay, first things I like. Okay, no way that I'm going to prepare a topic that I dislike. That's not going to happen. You need to enjoy it. Okay, it's going to be a big effort, right? So you better enjoy it. Okay, then you really need to think about the audience. Hey, what the audience wants to hear? Okay, and then things that will be of interest of the audience, of course. And then the last but very important thing is that, hey, there is also competition in this market. There will be people submitting talks for the same topics, right? So if you try to find a topic that there is interesting, but is not so crowded as other topics, you will probably have more chances of being there, right? And it's important in this case that you might have, because, hey, we most likely are working in a company, right? Our company probably want us to be there to promote our things or whatever. It's likely that this is going to happen. But you cannot think that way. You need to step back and you need to become a bit more, say, altruist, and you need to remove those things, at least initially. Okay, it's important. Then you will be able to spread the word and everything, but you need to remove that from the equation, at least until you start getting in the system. And also something that I really haven't ever taken into account is the time to prepare. If you try to go for easier topics, something that you are very comfortable and everything, you are going probably to bias and not consider well enough the 3 points above that I think are very important. So, but I wanted more. If you know me, some of the that you know me is I needed more. Okay, as you can guess, I love challenges. I built a package manager for C++, so I'm a bit crazy in this sense, right? So I wanted to do a bit more, and then in the same way of thinking that, hey, if there is something that I like, there is something that the audience wants, and there is no one else that is doing that, then there is a space for doing things similar to C++ talks or close to C++ talks, but not exactly C++ talk to a conference. So in this sense, there are tons of opportunities around you to do this. Many conferences, they have lightning talks. They are easier. They don't have a review process, and everything is a very good way to start doing talks about what you like. It's very easy to get there and get in front of people. You have local meetups, which are very willing to accept your talk. Even if you're a newbie, if you are the first time, go to your local meetup, talk to them, propose a topic. They are going to love it. So just do it. I've also done like podcasts and several workshops, like full day workshops and everything. But probably my best contribution to the C++ talks like things is the quizzes. I've been doing like a C++ crazy quiz for several years in Meeting C++. It's like a 2 hours long social event in person. We don't do, because hybrid or online, it doesn't really make sense. So it's a social event in person. People work in teams. I've tried to do it like 20 minutes Kahoots in some other conference, but it's really not the same. So the best is really the big format, the large format. And this is more or less how it looks like. It will be like a bunch of people They will work in teams after dinner, having some drinks and everything, and they have lots of fun because I try to go a bit beyond C++. So, for example, this is one of the quizzes that has become like a classic in the quiz. You can use this. This is absolutely a standard regular C++. Your IDs support this, so you can open VS Code and type this code, and it will compile and it will work. And is this is C++, but this is not C++. This is why my talk is called Beyond C++ Talks, because there are things that you can do more, and they will still be great. As you can guess, this is also C++ code, right? And it compiles and it prints something, and then when I put in the screens, the audience, they had to guess what was the answer there. And as you can guess, it's no way they will ever read the code. It's just it's a puzzle. They need to solve the puzzle. So this is the way that I go beyond just the standard C++ code, and I try to do something different, right? For example, for the final list, the way to get the final winner was this kind of questions. As you can see, this is not really a question. This is just my personal opinion of how you should be putting braces. And the winner, they had to guess what was my personal preference. So as you can see, this is just mostly a joke. But it happened that it worked really well. Okay, this is one of the biggest compliments that you can get. So in this case, it was Cybrand. It was writing this about one of the quizzes. Okay, and honestly, getting this from Cy is like it is really to my something that got to my heart. So I was so proud of this. This is one of the reasons that I've been repeating in Meeting C++ the quiz over and over the years, and trying to improve myself, going higher and higher the bar, because if this is what people think, then it's definitely worth doing that. Again, not just to finish my talk, is note that this is basically, the quizzes is also in the same intersection. It's things that I liked, things that the community wanted. They wanted to have fun. They wanted to have a social event. They wanted to enjoy it, right? And there was opportunity. There was no one doing that in meetings. There was like a new idea, and James, of course, was great to accept this crazy idea of doing the quiz and this work. And of course, it's not aligned at all in this sense with business, because Conan is not there beyond a little bit of branding and the sponsoring. I'm not talking about Conan at all. And the amount of work it needs to prepare is months. It takes it's way more than any talk that I've done ever. It takes a huge amount of time. So why do I do this? Okay, because first, I said I needed to do more. I needed to be there. I needed to have an impact because I have a message to spread. Okay, and I realized that doing these things, it satisfied my three conditions, right? Something very important for you, the people that are listening. I'm shy. I'm an introvert myself. Okay, I suffer every time I was a professor. Every time that I had to go on front of the classroom, I suffered because I'm not that type of person. Okay, this shouldn't be a reason. You can do it, and I also did it even when I was not supported by the company. The first time is because there was no company, actually. So I have to pay with my pocket money to travel to Berlin. And the fourth is huge. In this case, for the quizzes, talk is the effort will be less. So my conclusions here, if it is an investment that pays over time, results aren't immediate. You need to consider, you need to adjust to get your talks to a conference. Then why you should be doing a conference? And then I will tell you very clearly, this is nothing helped me more in my career. Nothing changed my career, my opportunities more than being at conferences. It allowed me to become a full-time professor, a tenure-track professor, going to conferences and speaking there. It got me the possibilities, the chances to be in front of the audience, to meet people, to spread the word about what I wanted to spread the word about my package manager without talking about the package manager. And it worked. It really worked. So my conclusion here is just do it, because doing C++ talks and beyond, anything that you can do for the community, it will get you back. It will be your best marketing for yourself, your company, your products, as long as you do it. So just do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Diego. Let me go back to my slides. That was really great to talk. Thank you, Diego. And of course, the quiz. Yes, that's a favorite of everyone who has ever been at Meeting C++, I think.